descendants of persons enslaved in the United States. That language comes from California AB 3121. Because it has precedence, we stuck with it. But for those persons enslaved in the United States and our allies, essentially our mission is for self-advocacy, utilizing humanitarian principles to effect the redress of enduring impacts of slavery and subsequent harm. We're going to get to survivors. A lot of us are survivors. Our organization basically has a vetted membership. We are basically democratic. We are built from the bottom up. We have a threefold purpose in terms of our, what do you call those things, programming, political education, community organizing, and political activation. We are 501c3, but we teach people how to advocate now. We teach you a piece of legislation and you choose to take that educational resource and utilize it, then we've done our job. We have 5 chapters, 7 board members, 6 committees, 3 external affiliates. I'm the president, my vice president, military guy, love him, Mark Stevenson, secretary from Ohio, Najee. We go down to Texas with our treasurer and our co-treasurer, Juanita Watson, out in California. And then we have a couple of other members who are in the DMV area that sit on our board. In the past 5 years, we've done some interesting work and things. We kind of started, like I told you all yesterday, in 2019 when HR 40 went to the judiciary, and we actually tried to see if we could get some things to trend online. That is kind of where we started off. In 2020, we published, technically that's 2021, but 2020, we published the Repair Act Presidential Priorities, calling for our President Biden and his administration to do an executive order for 12 policy memos that he could do right away. We have met with the domestic policy team at least twice. We've been invited to the White House twice to talk about reparations and some of these particular things. In 2022, we did our inaugural reparations summit, but the problem with being a 501c3, in some years you got money, in some years you don't. 2022 was fantastic. We were down in Atlanta at that National Civil and Human Rights museum down there. It was beautiful. Like I said, Dr. Martin Luther King's paperworks were there. We were really immersed into that experience, and that was significant with us, having Dr. Shirley Weber of the California Secretary of State now, but she is the author of AB 3121. She was our keynote speaker. We had Camilla Moore. We had our Japanese brother who wrote the book Redress, John Tateishi. John Tateishi actually said, when we did, this was a closed session, this wasn't online, but when we went through the full Repair Act, which is a bunch of policy memos, he felt that he was witnessing what would be the legislative repair of Black people at the federal level.
Know that we still have slavery in America. Currently practicing slavery. We thought we lost that. Thought Abraham Lincoln came along and did the job. There was a dance and jubilee happened, but he did a real half-assed job. He only did it halfway. And so the world is calling on us. There's been a movement that started, early in the 2010s that really sparked up when the Black Lives Matter movement got going, and we started talking about over-policing and the materialization of our communities. And what we were really talking about was the fact that America's still seeing Black folks as either slaves because they already have felonies or potential slaves. And for 400 years, they've been writing policy to get us to enslave them. And so I'm going to pass it to my people, and we're going to just start having a little conversation.
How you doing, everybody? My name is Aaron Ernst. I've been impacted by the system, spent a number of years incarcerated. I've been working with David, doing some IWalk work and TV stuff and some other things. So, and basically, I just have a passion for giving back and helping other people be successful in the transition out of the prison system and to finally just break free and be free, and to be successful. basically, I mean, people have this understanding that, you know, slavery's ended in the United States, there is no more slavery, blah, 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 all that good stuff, right? Well, being incarcerated is, I mean, to begin with, it's a dehumanizing condition. When you walk in, you're given a number. When you walk into the jail, your clothes are taken off, everybody's dressed the same, everybody's put in clothes, they're too small for you, or they're too big for you, or they're worn out. All of your identity is taken away. And it's through that process that we begin to start, it's a breaking down. It's a breaking down of a man and of a woman. And that dignity and that pride and that spark that we have, it really gets diminished. And for some people it goes out, you know? And on top of that, the situation that when I'm gonna leave here one day, eventually I'm gonna get out. And when I get out, am I gonna be prepared? Am I gonna be able to compete?
And just became the chair in probably about May or June of last year. But that came by way of some infighting. So I feel like that's one of the number one issues that we have in our fight for reparations is, and that's historical. Unfortunately, it's the infiltration comes from within. So that those are things that we really have to keep in mind and always be doing things to heal those internal issues. The number two thing I have is the expense and capacity issues to adequately educate and organize. So I was really astounded, going through this journey of reparations, just of how many in the African American community are not aware of what reparations is. So we have so much educating to do on what it is and what it isn't.
Darkness always comes to light. A lot of mythology that because the Jesuits were religious, that they were somehow better to their enslaved people, but that's not true at all. Waking up every morning, not being able to have control over their own being.
We did this thing wrong. We hurt people, and the legacy of that continues to hurt people.
sustenance and being able to kind of figure out how to make something out of nothing, how to make this kind of throwaway food combined with all of this survival food into some culinary masterpieces, honestly.